Alright, hey everyone. Today I'm going to be going through a kind of wallet CLI guide. The wallet CLI is kind of the terminal interface for the wallet. You've probably seen the GUI before. GUI means graphical user interface, so you have kind of like a little window that you can interact with, and you can send your funds that way. But today I'm going to be going through the command line interface. So if you know the command line, it's kind of like a black box, and you type things in it, and it does stuff for you. So where do you actually get the command line wallet? So if you go onto the Loki project GitHub, you'll see that we have a bunch of links here. You'll see the Loki GUI here. But you'll also see just the Loki normal repository. So the normal repository for Loki has the CLI wallet in it, and the Loki GUI has the GUI in it. Basically, if you want to download the CLI, you go to the Loki repository, and then you can go up to the releases tab, and then in releases you'll see the latest release. If there was a pre-release, you would see that as well. Maybe there's a beta going on at the time. This guide is written to be kind of timeless, so hopefully you'll be able to use this going into the future. So depending on what platform you're on, you're going to download the binaries here. I'm on Windows today, and I'm going to be doing the guide on Windows because it's probably the system that most people use. The commands are basically the same once you get into the wallet on OS X and Linux. The only thing is running the wallet is a bit different on those platforms. So I'm going to download the Windows binaries just by clicking here, and you'll see they'll start downloading. We'll come back once I've downloaded these, and I'll show you how to unzip them and show you how to do that. Alright, awesome. I've got my binaries downloaded now. Open them up in WinZip so I can unzip them. We'll just go extract to and then extract to desktop. I've already done that. So after that, you can come down onto your desktop here, and I've extracted them here, and you can see now I've got a bunch of files in this directory here. So if I wanted to double click on any of these files, that's kind of not the way to open them. With the GUI, you can just double click and it'll open up and show you a nice graphical interface. But with the command line interface, we actually need to go into them in a particular way, or open them in a particular way. So you'll see here I just pressed up on the upper bar on the navigation window or the Explorer. I can click that and then go Control-C to copy it. And then I can come down here and type CMD and open up the command prompt. So what I did there was I just typed CMD and press enter, and it will open up the command prompt automatically. So the first command I'm going to show you how to use in the command prompt, and this is for Windows and Linux and Mac, I think, is CD. So CD means change directory. So you'll see right now I'm at users/Potter, so that's the directory that I'm in at the moment. Now if I want to go to a different directory, I type CD and then a space, and then to paste things in command prompt you can just right click. So now that I've got it on my clipboard, I right click and it'll go in there automatically, and then after that I can just press enter, and you'll see now that the kind of the path that I'm in has now changed. The other command is in Windows is to show the directory that you're currently in, so you can use pwd, and that won't show anything because it's not Linux. So the first command I'm going to show you how to use, or rather the second command now that I've shown you CD, is how to show you the files in your current directory. So in Windows that's just dir, capital dir, and that will show you the files that are in your current directory. So you can see, you can compare this to the files in the Windows Explorer. You can see that they match up with the files in command prompt as well, or the terminal. Whichever operating system you're using. So what I actually want to do here is I want to run the Loki wallet CLI. So the wallet CLI is where your wallet is actually stored, and it's different from the daemon. So there's two kind of things that you want to remember here, is the daemon and the wallet. So the daemon is the part that actually connects to the network. This will allow you to scan the blockchain if you're running your own local blockchain. So that means if you've downloaded the whole blockchain, it'll allow you to go through that. But the wallet is just kind of where you store your keys, and it gives you access to your funds basically. And really, the command line wallet will allow you to do much more than the GUI once you've learnt it. It's just a somewhat steep learning curve for a lot of people to kind of understand it and see how to use it. So to open it up, I'll just go Loki dash wallet dash CLI. And if you were using Linux or Mac, you would put actually a / in front of this. But since I'm on Windows, I'm just going to run it with Loki Wallet CLI because that's all you have to do. So you'll see it's thinking. And now it's asking me specify a wallet name. So it wants you to create a new wallet because you don't have a wallet here. Or if you have a wallet in this directory, you can actually open that one up. So I'm going to show you the process of creating a new wallet and also opening an existing wallet that you might have already created in the GUI. So here I might just name my wallet key. And it's saying that there's no wallet with that name. Would I like to create one? I'm just going to go yes. I'd enter a new password. I'm not going to enter a password for this video because I'm not going to be able to remember them all, so I'm just going to press enter, enter, and now it's asking me for the language I want my seed words to be in. So I'm going to go English. It's going to think for a little bit, and then it's going to give me a seed word. Or my seed words rather. So you can see you can create a wallet pretty easily, and these are your seed words right here. So obviously if you're creating a wallet, you want to write these down. I'm not going to put much Loki into this wallet, so I'm not going to write those down for now. If you want to take my one Loki that I'm going to store in this wallet, then I encourage you to restore this wallet and take my one Loki. That'll be a challenge for the first one to transfer Loki out of this wallet. I'll leave a one Loki bounty there for you. So it's also saying that the wallet failed to connect to the daemon. So the wallet and the daemon are kind of working synchronously. So if you run the daemon on your computer, it's going to download the blockchain, and then it's also going to communicate with the other daemons out there. And that's kind of how the blockchain really gets updated. Is you can communicate with other daemons. Miners run daemons as well to construct blocks. So it's not connected to anything. This is just kind of showing you how you would create a wallet. So now I'm going to show you if you've created a wallet, like how would you connect to the daemon. So whenever we want to exit the Loki Wallet CLI or any of the command line utilities, in most operating systems we can go Control-C, and if I'm clicked into the box when I do it, Control-C will get me out of the wallet, except it won't. Maybe I have to do exit. Okay, cool. Control-C, I'm used to the Linux, so it's Control-C on Linux, and it's just exit. You can use exit in Windows. So okay, cool. We're going to show you now how to connect to the remote node. I'm not going to sync the whole blockchain for this scenario. If you were using a blockchain that had been downloaded beforehand, what you would do is you would come to LokiD and we'd do the same thing. We'd copy here, go CMD, enter, and then CD to go to that directory, and then we would just run LokiD. And LokiD would fire up, and you can see it's asking access through the firewall. I'm going to click it yes, and you can see it's basically going to slowly sync up blocks. So this will take a while if you're downloading the full blockchain. You can see it started syncing here up to the blockchain. It's got the correct height, 10,000, but I'm not going to let it go the whole way. I'm just going to click Control-C, or exit rather. I'm going to keep forgetting that. And you can see stop signal sent, so it's just going to close it off now, I suppose. Shut down gracefully, and then it's going to exit out. So if I wanted to run both together, basically I would run LokiD, and then I would also run the wallet at the same time, and they would connect together because the LokiD is serving basically a service on this port, and it's going to connect up automatically. So that would be the case if I was downloading my whole blockchain and I was keeping it there. But for this video, I'm going to show you how to connect to a remote node. It's probably the easier way to do things. Not the most private at the moment, but with LokiNet coming out, it should become more and more private as we develop things. So the other interesting thing I can do if I'm in the CLI is I can actually press the up arrow. So the up arrow and the down arrow kind of direct you between the commands that you've already run before. So if I wanted to go back to Loki Wallet CLI and I didn't need to type that all out, I can just go press the up arrow. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to use startup flags. So startup flags basically give a command to the application before or as it's starting to tell it what to do. So the simplest one and the one you might use the most is the help command. So the help command, and I'll expand my window here as well so you can also see the output that the help command gives you. The help command will basically print out all of this information for you. So if I run it, it'll have a little think, and it'll print out all of the options, all of the startup flags that you can give the daemon if you wanted to. So, you know, I've got stuff like testnet, stagenet. You might have seen that if you watched the staking guide. If you wanted to connect to testnet, you'd run with the --testnet flags. If you wanted to pre-put a password in, you can do that. You can put the password, and then arg here refers to argument. Basically, you would put your password after that if you wanted to pre-fill it, essentially. Yeah, other stuff like daemon address. So this is the one we're going to be using right now. So we can actually just highlight over that and right-click it, and that'll essentially put it in our clipboard, so it's ready to go. And I'll show you kind of how to use that now. So what we're going to do is we're going to press up arrow again. We're going to go here. We're still going to use a startup flag, and then we're going to paste in the daemon address. Just paste it over that part because it's got double flags on it, so I just want single flags. And daemon address basically is the address of the remote node. So because I'm not running the node or the Loki daemon, Loki D, on this computer, I want to connect to someone else's Loki D, and the way to do that is to specify a daemon address. So I know do pool, I think, is a common remote node, so I think it's do pool XYZ, and I'm going to forget the port completely. I think it's 2020, 22020. I think that's it from memory, but I might be wrong on this one. We'll know shortly, so I'm just going to press enter on this. Cool. Let's see, we're going to restore our old wallet, so we're going to put in the wallet, and you'll see also in the directory where we have the Loki wallet, you'll also see, because I created a wallet before, it's created this key and key.key, so it's created those two files in there. And with those and my seed, I can restore my wallet. I actually only need one. If I have either of these, I can restore my wallet. One takes the password, obviously. It's like an encrypted version of the seed, and the seed itself is an unencrypted version, so you can keep that wherever you want. But if you have these two files and the password in your head, you can always restore your wallet, or if you have the seeds, you can always restore your wallet. So I'm going to go key. I don't have a password on this one, and it's going to tell me that it doesn't understand what my port number was. So I think I've specified the port number incorrectly. I think the right way to do it is to put a little colon between these two. So I'm going to go enter now. Same process, key, enter here. And cool, I got the port number miraculously correct. I don't know how I did that. You'll see that it's actually scanning through the blockchain right now, up to the height where I've created this. So since this wallet has just been created, it skips like I think a couple 100,000 blocks there, or not 100,000 blocks. I think it skips 70 or 80,000 blocks. But you see we're restoring right now. So basically the way Monero does things, or the way the CryptoNote protocol does things, is instead of Bitcoin, where every transaction references directly the public address of the sender or the receiver, and moves UTXOs between those public addresses. Everything in Monero is sent to a stealth address. So a stealth address is basically, I can do a key exchange with someone. It's called a Diffie-Hellman key exchange. And basically I can give them an amount for which they have to work out the private spend key. So basically what happens here is I go through every single transaction on the whole entire blockchain, and I check like whether I can calculate the spend key for that particular amount. So that's basically what it's doing. The remote node is giving it blocks, and it's scanning through the transactions and saying, oh, can I spend this amount? Can I spend this amount? And that's the way kind of Monero does things. So that's why it's a little bit slower compared to maybe a Bitcoin wallet that you've seen before, where you don't actually have to sync up and it'll immediately show you your transactions, you know. So a bit of a different process, but it doesn't take too much longer, and there's always work trying to improve this this speed as well. So this is just kind of one of the things you have to deal with or put up with until the privacy space gets a lot more interesting in the ways that they're protecting privacy. So you can still see it's continuing to scan. We might just come back once it's finished scanning those last blocks. Alright, cool. That only took about a minute after I paused the video to fully sync up, and you can see background refresh started and you can see the refresh done. So it is also showing you your balance here as well. You can see I haven't put any balance into this account yet, so it obviously isn't showing anything. The next kind of more pertinent commands that you'll use is address, so ADDRESS. This will show you the address for which you can give someone and receive funds to. So let's kind of just show off how you would actually receive funds at this wallet. So say I've got this address. I'm going to copy this into the clipboard if I can grab that, and I'm going to right click on it. And for the purposes, I'm just going to put this in a notepad, and I'll cut back. I'm going to send a transaction to this address from my mobile wallet. So I'm going to send my mobile a little message, and then I'm going to use that as an input to the mobile wallet, and I'll send myself some funds, and I'll record what happens, what it actually looks like when someone's receiving funds. So I'll cut back once I've got this address on my mobile wallet. Okay, cool. So I've just sent one Loki to this this account here. Got the address on my phone and just sent it through the mobile wallet. So now I'm going to attempt to find that transfer pending to me. So the way I would do that is, actually I forget how to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type help in, and it's going to give me a list of all of the commands that I can run in here. So you can see there's a lot of commands here. I'm just going to look for the command that I want right now, which is probably something like transfer, or, well, let me see if I can find it. It's show transfers. So I'm going to go show underscore transfers and press enter. And you can see I've actually got this transaction that happened at 1:07. So we can see that it's 11:07, and that's for one Loki. So I don't know if this is this just went through or it's still pending. But if we go balance here, we can see that this is still a pending transaction. So that means that this is in the transaction pool at the moment, and we can probably confirm that by going to a Loki block explorer. So lokiblocks.com, let's see if Loki blocks is up. If it isn't, we can use a different block explorer. We might have to use explorer.lokipool at the moment. Looks like it's up at the moment. And we can see the transactions which are in the transaction pool. And we're not going to be able to see the amount, but what we can do probably, okay, I just received the Loki, so it doesn't really matter at the moment. But if I went back to my mobile wallet on my phone, I could actually see on my phone what the transaction ID was that I sent. But you can see the green line here which says I've received one Loki. So if I go here also, I can grab this and right click to copy, and then I can actually paste it in the block explorer here and go search, and you can also see the transaction here. So because obviously Loki is a private cryptocurrency, you can't actually see the amounts, or you can see who it's sending to and from, but these are both stealth addresses. They're not actually the public address of the person that I was sending to. So yeah, you can see that it's occurred on the block explorer, and if I scan through here, or if I go here, I can see the block height that I received it at as well, which was 100,489. So if I go to 100,489, and I know the transaction ID started with 257, I can see it here as well. So I can see which block my transaction occurred in too. So it's always good to kind of use both of these tools together and understand how to use them together as well. So now that I've received some Loki in my accounts, I can use the balance command, and I can see that I've got balance here of 1 Loki. Alright, so now that we've got 1 Loki in our actual wallet, we can make a transfer out of this wallet as well. It's important to recognize that there's a difference between balance and unlocked balance as well. So it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm able to spend money just because I have an unlocked balance. So you can see at the moment I have balance of 1 Loki, but the unlocked balance here is 0. So in Monero, every single transaction that gets sent to you, and this is the same in Loki as well, will be locked for a period of time. So typically that's 10 blocks, and in Loki it's also 10 blocks. So even though I received this Loki at what was the block height? 100,489. It's going to take I think. Well, it depends it depends what the block number is at the moment. You can see it's 90, so it's also going to take. Each block is 2 minutes, and we've got 8 blocks, so approximately 16 minutes to unlock here. So we'll have to wait that out, but in the meantime I can actually show you how you would create a paper wallet, for example. I'm just going to create a paper wallet here. I'm going to go generate mainnet wallet, and I'm just going to use this for an example of how I would send, and we'll show you also when it actually does send. So I would go transfer, transfer, and then I would put the address here, and then I would type the amount that I want to send. Because I only have a couple of Loki, I'm going to put 0.5, and I don't have a wallet password. It's probably going to tell me after this that there's not enough money in the unlocked balance. So I'm going to have to wait until this unlocks, obviously. While this is happening, I might show you how to take a GUI wallet, a wallet that was created in the GUI, and use it in the CLI. So there's a couple of ways to do this. Let me see if I have a copy of the GUI operating on my desktop. I think these are all going to be Loki wallet class. Here, I've got a copy of the GUI as well. So the GUI, obviously, if you've used the GUI before, you just double click to open the GUI, and it'll open up and it'll ask me. I think this is just a wallet. I'm gonna press cancel, and pressing cancel is basically a way to start making a new wallet. So I'm gonna go English. I'm gonna create a new wallet for the purpose of this video. You can see I've got a seed here. Obviously I'm not gonna keep it private. I'm gonna show it to you guys. And okay, I'm gonna change the name of that wallet. So I'm gonna go maybe key GUI test. Then I'm going to go through. You'd put a password in here. I'm not going to use a password because I don't care about you guys stealing this 1 Loki. And then it's asking me, do I want to connect to a remote node? For this purpose, I'm going to connect to a remote node, but I'm just showing you how you would create one in the GUI and then grab it. So the wallet's now created already. I don't actually need to scan through all of these blocks, so I'm just going to exit the GUI, and I'll show you where the GUI leaves its actual wallets in the Windows desktop. It's a bit different in Mac and Linux, where the wallets are actually created. You'll need to find that yourself. So I've closed the GUI. I think it's just in the process of closing. So in Windows, it's in Documents, and you'll see there's a folder called Loki here, and then Wallets, and you'll see key GUI test. So I'm going to grab this, and as you can see, I have 2 files in here. You might have 3 files if you have a cache from downloading the blockchain, or you've sent some transfers that also keeps that information in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab both of these files. I'm going to select them, and I'm going to go copy. And this is now not responding. We can just close it. Hopefully it goes away. Yep, awesome. So now we're going to go back to the Loki folder that we had here before, and as you can see, the CLI has created some files here, but we can actually just paste our files in here too. and then obviously we're in our other wallet here, but I'm just gonna to show you. I'm just gonna go exit, and then we're gonna use the up and down arrows again to get back to the command that we were running earlier. We're obviously using a remote node here, so we'll go enter, and it's gonna ask me the name of my wallet. So the wallet files that I just put in here were called key GUI test. So if I put key GUI test, and it's cap sensitive as well, so I have to make sure I get them all right. Looks like it's going to be all right, and then I press enter. It's going to ask me, it's going to first work out, yeah, that there was a wallet file there. It's going to ask me the password. I didn't put a password, and then it's just going to restore as it did before. So that's how you can import. The other way to do it would also be to you would go back to the GUI here, you would open up your wallet. Let's see if we can open up that same wallet that we created before. So actually we might just create a new wallet. We'll go English, create a new wallet, skip this, that name already exists, but let's go seed wallet for this example. You can see the seed here, but I'm going to show you as in you already have the wallet created. So bang. Let's go through here, use Loki, and then I'm going to go settings, seed and keys. I don't have a password, so I can just skip that, and it's going to show me my seed here, and this is the important part. This is what I could do, say if my, for example, say if my GUI was on a different machine and I didn't want to copy those files physically, I could just come here, grab the mnemonic seed, copy that out. Generally, it's not a good idea to copy things to your clipboard because your clipboard can be unsafe on your computer, so I would still recommend writing this down on a piece of paper. If you have your seed anyway, you can do this part without going into the GUI. I'm going to close the GUI again. Right, so now I've got my seed phrase copied, and I want to show you how to kind of restore from a wallet from seed without having to copy the files or anything if you had it on a different computer. So I'm just going to use the up arrows. You can see that I've got this command here already, and I'm going to run with the dash dash. So this is another service node flag, or another flag rather. I'm in the service node mode. We're doing release in a couple of days, so they're on my mind. I'm going to use another flag here. So it's called restore deterministic wallet. So this is basically restoring the wallet from seed. So restore, R-E-S-T-O-R-E, deterministic wallet. Cool. And then I'm just going to press enter. You'll see it'll ask me for a wallet name. You just make sure you don't use another. You use a wallet that's already in here. You want an original wallet name, so I'm just going to call this key test wallet seed. Press enter. It's going to ask me for my Electrum seed, so I can use the seed that I got from the GUI before. Right click it. Obviously, if you had the seed written down on a piece of paper, you just type in word by word, press space in between, and then when you get to the last word, press enter. It's going to ask me for a seed encryption phrase. So if I did encrypt my seed, and this is somewhat advanced, if you're an advanced user, probably know what your seed encryption phrase is, but if it's just plain text like it was in the GUI, you can just press enter. It's asking me now if I want to have a password for this wallet, so this would be the new password when I open it up like the other wallets on my CLI, whether I want to enter a password to make it a bit more secure. For me, because I don't care about the security of this wallet, I'm just going to press enter, then enter. And cool, you can see that it's restored the wallet here. It's going to ask me also what date I want to scan the blockchain from. So typically you want to put the date that you received your first transaction. So if I created this wallet and received a transaction in it 10 days ago, then I would put that date. If you're unsure about the date which you received your first transaction, you can put 0, but if you're just creating the wallet, if you're restoring a wallet from seed that you've never seen before, then you would put today's date. But the first date that you received a transaction is the best to put in, or 0 if you don't know what you're doing. So I'm just going to put 0 in, and this is basically going to skip a whole bunch of blocks if you don't need to scan from that height. So you can see it's connecting to the remote node here, and basically it will get all of the blocks and scan through the transactions to see if it can calculate the spend key for them. So this is starting refresh here. I'm not going to go through the whole process because to scan through a wallet takes a little bit of time, and I also don't want to put stress on this remote node, so I'm just going to type in exit. or I'm going to press Command C. I think Command C might actually work here. Okay, cool. Exit worked. Or actually, no, it didn't, because I put a little space in it. All my commands are piling up on each other now. Okay, cool. So it might actually be time for that transaction that we were looking at earlier. We'll see how many blocks have gone by. It's 98 right now, so I think we require one more block to go past. Let's have a look. We're going to go back here, so Loki Wallet Client, we can press enter. We've got the remote node startup flag there. The wallet I think was called key. It's asking me for my password, didn't set a password here, and it's going to refresh the last blocks that were there, and cool, it's actually unlocked now. So you can see here balance 1 and unlocked balance 1 too. So the most basic thing you can do from the wallet is actually send a transfer out of the wallet. So for the purposes of this this tutorial, I'm just going to transfer half a Loki out, and the address I'm going to be transferring it to is here. So you can see the seed here. I think it's missing a couple of words, but if I scan over the side here, some sneaky person is going to be able to grab this half a Loki. Hopefully, if you're committed enough to grab the half a Loki, you deserve it, I think. So I'm going to go transfer. That's the command that starts this thing, tells it you're transferring, and then I'm going to grab the Loki address here. If someone sent you your Loki address, you could just copy it into the clipboard. It's a public address, so you don't need to worry about it. You don't need to worry about it being all over the internet. Your public address is somewhat okay to be over the internet. There is a tool called subaddresses that you can use, but that's getting a bit more into the advanced details of Loki. So I'm going to right click here, it's going to put the address in, and then I'm going to put the amount that I actually want to transfer in. So let's say I wanted to do 0.5 Loki. There is also a payment ID field. So if you wanted to put a payment ID, you would type it here. Payment IDs are only in hex. If you get one from an exchange, they'll give you the full payment ID, so you would just copy that. This is a spend key, but I'm just using it for illustration. You copy it, and then you would just paste it at the end here, and it would go in. So I would do that. Obviously, a payment ID is only 16 characters long, so I'm not going to put the whole thing in. And I'm going to go here, enter. So it's going to ask me for my wallet password. I'm just going to click enter here. It's telling me that there's no payment ID. Am I okay with that? My answer is yes. And I'm just putting in the letters. So when it asks you yes or no, just put in Y or N and then click enter. It's telling me that there's one block backlog. That probably means that there's a couple of transactions in the TX pool at the moment. You can see there are a couple of transactions in the transaction pool. I'm okay with this transaction going through that that level, so I'm going to just go yes. And cool, it's asking, do I want to actually send this transaction? It's telling me the transaction fee 0.13 Loki. I will show you how to set the transaction fee level that you want to transact at as well. But I'm okay with all of this, so I'm going to go yes. And you can see transactions successfully transactions successfully submitted, and it's giving you your transaction ID here. So I'm going to grab this transaction ID, and I'm going to go to the block explorer and paste that in and go search, and you can see it's not in a block yet, block number NA, but it's this means it's in the transaction pool. So if I go refresh here, you'll see that there was a transaction that happened 2 seconds ago. I think that's mine. No, my one's the one that happened 23 seconds ago, and you can see it's in the transaction pool. So when it's in the transaction pool, it's basically waiting to be mined by a miner. Alright, cool. So that's going to kind of end things off. You can see here that the transfer has occurred, my balance has decreased. The other kind of unique thing about Monero is that, say if you have 200 Loki in your wallet and you send out one, your balance will actually decrease. Your balance will decrease significantly as the money is transferred out, and then change will come back to you. So there's no need to freak out if your Loki wallet balance, when you send out one Loki, shows that you only have one balance left. That's just because the unlocked balance has come back to you. It just hasn't unlocked yet. So that's gonna kind of conclude the CLI guide. Hope you kind of got most of it. Remember that if you can always use help, and help will show you kind of all of the commands that you can use and the format they're in. The format is basically the things in square brackets are optional, and the things that occur in the what are they called? Lesser than and greater than symbols, I can't remember the name of them, are the non-optional commands. So you can see, because we ran the transfer command before, which is down here, you can see that address and amount are obviously the non-optional things here. You need to have those to transfer out. So yeah, there's a lot of commands in here, and I think we'll eventually make a guide on how to use all of these commands. But you know, it's not too hard to work out once you've kind of got the basics down. So I hope that kind of helped you understand things for the CLI, and I hope you guys are interested enough in Loki to get started and have a go with Loki. Remember, nothing's too hard. You can kind of always learn these things. So thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you guys later.